Welcome everyone to our special webinar, Flipgrid Overview for Asynchronous Collaborative Communication. I'm Scott Walsh with RMTC-DHH. So today we have our speaker, Randi Mitchell, who is the Coordinator of Professional Development at FSDB and an adjunct professor at the University of North Florida in the Department of Exceptional, Deaf, and Interpreter Education. She is a Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert and is going to share how to use Flipgrid today, specifically when working with students who are deaf and hard of hearing. Now that you know a little bit more about Randi, I'll turn the session over to her.
Hi, everyone. Once again, I get to come and talk to my computer screen and hope that you guys are all enjoying it on your end as we're doing this webinar format for presenting. So for those of you who came yesterday for Teams, I'm so thankful. A lot of what I'm showing today can actually just be added and embedded into your team. So that's the great thing about what today's webinar is and what tomorrow's webinar is. And that's kind of why I started with Teams for the first in this series. So today we're talking about one of my favorite partner apps with Microsoft, and it's Flipgrid. As you can see, I got my Flipgrid shirt on. Flipgrid is all about supporting student voice. And it doesn't mean like student voice, like I'm talking, it's like student expression. It's all about ways that the student can express themselves, whether it's spoken language, sign language, maybe a demonstration of sorts or presenting, but Flipgrid is this platform that lets students video and communicate and collaborate without having to be in real time and in person. So I did put on here my Twitter handle, so you're more than welcome to follow me on Twitter. I'm always retweeting and posting and sharing different things that not only are the Flipgrid team sharing, but different people in Microsoft. So you can definitely use that as a resource. Okay, so our agenda for today, I'm going to go over what is Flipgrid. Some of you are probably like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Some of you might have heard it, or some of you might be FSDB people who have come to my trainings here on campus. So we have a wide variety. To make sure that you guys understand the content that I get to later in this webinar, I'm going to go ahead and go through all the parts of Flipgrid, like those important vocabularies. So when I'm throwing around certain words, you're not completely lost. And then I'm going to go over how do you Flipgrid, features in Flipgrid, how are we going to remote learn with Flipgrid, how to use it with your deaf, hard of hearing students. And then I'm also going to give a brief tutorial if time allows. So at the beginning, I will be talking on the little bit faster side because it's more of an overview. Also, I provided a quick overview of the parts of Flipgrid and what is Flipgrid in one of our Pineapple PD videos. It's presented in ASL with voiceover and captions. So that's also a resource for you when I'm talking through this part quickly, because really the meat of it is towards the end of the webinar and I want to make sure I get there. Okay, so what is Flipgrid? And this is what is on like their site. So Flipgrid is a free, that's right, Flipgrid is 100% free video discussion platform from Microsoft that helps educators see and hear from every student in class and foster a fun and supportive social learning environment. In Flipgrid, educators post discussion prompts and students respond with short videos. If you want to learn more, you can go to their website. I put the info site down at the bottom of this slide. It'll give you like basically everything you know about Flipgrid. Okay, so we're not going to watch this whole video, but Flipgrid's mission, and this is what I think is very important when using it, and this is what made me really just fall in love with the company. It's not only people that work there, but it's also the mission that they stand behind. So they want to empower every learner on the planet to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. Together, we are building global empathy. So this platform is allowing for each student to kind of discuss in a way, either it's sign language or speaking, or maybe it's showing a little movie with like little action figures, or you can use the whiteboard to record a how-to video. There's many different ways that you can use Flipgrid to empower your students and give them a voice. Okay, so since I mentioned that Flipgrid is free for everybody. All you have to do is go to their website and go to the educator sign up that's in the top right-hand corner of the website. You go there and you can sign up. For us at FSDB, we are a Microsoft school, and we also have our Google account. So we use our Microsoft login with our FSDB credentials to get in. For you guys, it would just be whatever school platform you use, whether it's Google or Microsoft. You can use that to log in, and your educator email. So make sure you go and do the educator sign up to get into your free Flipgrid account. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting into those important words that I was talking about. So create a grid. A grid is a place for your class. It's for your students, personal learning community, staff, school, or anyone. So for you all, it could be for your self-contained class. You could have a whole grid just for those students. Maybe for itinerant teachers, if you're working with each individual group, each individual student could have their own grid. This is kind of the place where you have that whole group. We call it the place for your class. Or if you're doing PLCs or more, it could also just be for your community. Okay, so there's 3 grid community types, and this is important when setting up your grid. So you can use school email. If your students are using a school email, only those with school email can access your grid. So this is nice if you guys all have the same ending in your domain. So for instance, mine would be at fsdbk12.org, and then all my students with same emails could get in. Well, then we have our next option, student ID list. Let's say your students don't have emails. I taught kindergarten and they did not have emails. So for this, I would set up a class roster and give each one a unique ID. You can keep it simple with like 2 numbers just to help the student identify, and they can use that code to get into Flipgrid without even needing an email or an account. The next grid community type is PLC and public. This is better if you're going to do it with adults, and I say that because it's not as locked down as the other 2 options. So if you have a PLC, you're working with a group, kind of like what RMTC set up for everyone to share out about what you're doing, remote learning ideas, that allows anyone to log in with their Microsoft or Google email to post a response. So it's not as lockdown safe as the school email and the student ID list option. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're setting up your grid. Okay, so we have our grid, our place for our class, our place for our school. So in our grid, there's things called topics, and you can add topics. Topics are discussion prompts that you can either create yourself with themes or challenges, or you can pick some from the grid community. So there's this whole thing called Disco Library, which we're going to talk about, and there's other apps that Flipgrid works with that can just easily embed into your topic. As you can see, Nearpod's on there. That's a popular one. Vimeo. We also have, I guess if you're doing a PLC, you might include Facebook, Sway, Google Docs, PowerPoint, Excel. There's all these different platforms that you can do to add into your topic to help support your instruction. So basically what you would do is in your grid, you would add a topic, and then in that topic, you add the content for the lesson. When the student is done with the lesson, then they can go and give a response. Or you could provide a video of you signing the question or the content, and then the student can go in and provide a response in the Flipgrid by just pushing the green plus sign that they'll see on their screen. Okay, so in topics, there's a ton of different settings that the teacher can set up for themselves. The length of the video is now 10 minutes, and this is just super exciting. I can give that an applause. So this past Saturday, I actually filmed the whole Pineapple PD video by myself. So I was practicing social distancing. I came in and filmed the video and edited it and released it that day. And I go on Twitter that evening, and Adam is posting that now the time is up to 10 minutes. And I was like, oh no, because before it was only 5. So you'll see in the Pineapple PD that I mentioned that was 5, but that's because a couple hours later, they released that it was 10 minutes long, which is awesome. So if you're filming a video, it can be up to 10 minutes long, and the teacher has that option to kind of change it, as you can kind of see in the graphic on the screen. So the teacher can give that recording time. So if you want a short response from your students, you can change it all up. You provide the topic of the title and any details that you might want to include. You can put attachments in this place. The teacher can moderate responses. So this is good if you have some students that might not be the most behaved, or you're a little bit nervous that their content might not convey what you want other students to see. Or if you're using this as like an assessment tool, you can click moderate responses. This allows the teacher to view all the responses before they're out onto the grid and in that topic for other students to see. You can set a release date of the topic, when the date ends where they can't respond. You can allow students to like thumbs up like each other's or not. You can turn on the selfie or turn it off. You can have the video on or off. You can also change the settings so students can't re-record. So that's good if it's like an assessment. You don't want them to re-record a million times until they get the right answer. It's one time done. And the teacher can also develop a way to give feedback, whether it's private or open. And then there's also the rubric option, which is awesome for grading, especially at a time like this where you're doing distance learning. But the rubric can either be this basic one that Flipgrid provides, or you can go in and just kind of create your own rubric. Either way, it's such a great tool. I always recommend to people to go through the topics and kind of figure out what your preferred settings are. Once you kind of know your preferred settings, it's so easy to set up a topic because you just go through and get all those settings in. Okay, so this was why I took down the share screen and put it back up, because like an hour ago, they just released on Twitter that not only can you use the whiteboard and the video for recording, you can now screen record using the Flipgrid camera. So when you go in to film something for your students in the topic, or if you're doing a short, you can share your screen. Right now, it's only on the web-based, and then they're working through to try to get it onto the app that are on the phone. But like, how awesome is that? Because there are times where we need a screen record to tell students what to do, and now we can. Thank you, Flipgrid. So that was just released about an hour ago, so I'm glad I kind of took a break to go through my Twitter to look for updates, because I learned the hard way with the 10-minute upgrade that they put in their post. All right, so students have the ability, so once you're done with your topic, we got our topics up, we got our grids up, this is the time where you will share it with your students. So what I recommend is sharing your whole grid with the students. This will allow the students to access every topic that is in there. If you're wanting to make sure a student gets a specific topic, you can share that specific topic. So you can share it with the students, and then they are able to respond to those topics by capturing a video, uploading a short video, or even they can also do the whiteboard feature if they want to. Okay, so with everything going on in the world, Flipgrid has made this amazing resource on their site. And I promise you, if you go to flipgrid.com and just hit resources, they have a getting started guide, they have a remote learning guide, they have constant 30-minute PDs going on all the time. I do have to warn, when they're live, they're not captioned, but post-production, they do caption them and post them up onto their site. So at first they're not, but then they are when they're done recording, and they'll post it up. So for the remote learning in this PowerPoint, I went ahead and hyperlinked so it goes directly to that site on Flipgrid, but they give you little tidbits of what the educator can do in 5 minutes to get their grid started. So you just get your grid, just what I just explained, post your topic, and share your Flipgrid with the code with your students. And then with students and families, all they need to do is click that link to enter, and then log in with either the school email, or like I showed when we're creating grids, that student ID that is either, so with that student ID, I guess there's two things. You can have it connected with your school where it like brings in that whole roster of students, or for like this situation where right now, like bugging your IT about setting up school ID, or like student IDs is just not a necessity. You can go in as the educator and create your student IDs, It could be 1 to 2 simple numbers. That's it. You put the student's first and last name, that code. You let them know that code, and then they can easily access their grid. So email or student ID that you create, or it's their school. And then all they do is hit that green plus side button, and then they're able to record. So very simple. Okay, so this is all the ways that you can use Flipgrid. As you can see, it's completely endless. And even this list, there's going to be more things that aren't even on here. You can use it to connect with your families. You can share aha moments, use it as an exit ticket, maybe do a recorded karaoke or a talent show. Fluency and phonics, they can do read alouds. There's so many different things that you can use it for as educators because of the filming capability that's in the platform. Okay, so like I said, when you go into your website, you set up your free educator account, this is what your dashboard looks like. Sometimes it will go right to my grids, sometimes it'll pop up on a different thing. So right now I'm highlighting Disco Library. This is where there's thousands of age-appropriate and subject-specific topic prompts that you can use with your students. So instead of recreating the wheel, all these teachers have already created all these different lessons for you guys to use in your topics. There's also a playlist called Conversation Starter, and that Conversation Starter playlist helps you get your students comfortable with this whole Flipgrid way of learning. So in the Flipgrid Disco Library, you easily add content that a teacher created. So you look through, find what you want, and you just pop it into your topic. Some of your favorite sites are on there, like Vocabulary, Hacking STEM, Nearpod, and more. There's already created materials there for you to use, so you don't have to recreate all these new things. You might find the content that you want. So basically, you'll find the lesson, you'll add it to your pod, or into your grid as a topic, and it's most likely going to just be content from that site or that source, and then the students respond in the Flipgrid to the answer prompt. All of the lessons have been screened by the Flipgrid group. There's 3 educators that they have on staff that really just basically majority of their job is just reading through all these lessons that are submitted to make sure they're appropriate and safe for students and meet that educational standard that we look for as educators. I do have to warn, some of the videos that are submitted do not have captions. When I randomly have clicked through, I had maybe 1 out of 15 that didn't have captions. So it's not all of them, there are some. So I just want to provide that warning that if you just go oh, that's cool, I'm gonna share it, make sure if there's a video attached to that Flipgrid in the Disco Library, that you make sure that that video has captions in it. The next thing I want to talk to you about is mixtapes. So as you can see, I kind of linked this PowerPoint slide. This takes you to the blog post that's everything mixtapes. So mixtapes is cool because you can take different videos from your topics that students responded to. You just click all the ones you want and you send it over to mixtapes. You can set the order you want for the responses to play, and then you make this whole video of all the responses from your students. The mixtapes are view only, so when you share them, it's only for them to watch. They can't edit anything in the mixtape. So why would you use mixtapes? You could do a student TED Talk, a project showcase. So you would take all those student responses in the topic and send it over to the mixtape. And then you have this beautiful video that's done and you can share out with families, with students. So that way you have this whole video on that one topic that you did. You could do it for student portfolios. Maybe you want to show an improvement of that student, maybe using a specific vocabulary or how they pronounce certain words. You can go in each of your topics, click all those videos of that student, send it over to mixtapes, and there you go. You have a whole portfolio of that student and all their responses among your topics. You could do read alouds, share memories of families, do a talent show remix. There's all sorts of ways that you can use mixtapes. So it's exactly what it sounds like, mixtapes. You're putting a bunch of videos together to make a mixtape. So I definitely recommend trying that out. Okay, shorts. So you might have heard me say the word shorts. Shorts are basically just short videos that you can film. They also go up to 10 minutes. You can create, trim, arrange video segments to be whatever order you want. This isn't something that you send out for a response. It's basically so you can have a short video that you can share safely with your students through a link or a QR code. You can also activate the whiteboard and live inking and write some stuff and then switch back to the camera for the presenter. You can apply unique filters and stickers, make it fun. And this is also where you can use the screen sharing, which is, I mean, now what, 2 hours old? That's 2 hours old of using the screen share. So you can screen share, whiteboard, also film yourself. So it's a great tool and it makes that short video with a QR code. You can also use the QR codes to give you like a Flipgrid AR experience. So RMTC, and you've probably seen FSDB, we used to use HP Reveal and Erasmus. Well, unfortunately, that program is no more. So as heartbroken as I am and the RMTC team are, Flipgrid came in to save the day, and they have Flipgrid AR experience. As you can see, I kind of hyperlinked that. You can click on it and we'll go right to the blog post of how to use Flipgrid AR. So you'll basically do your short, you get the QR code, you put it on that document or item, and students can scan using their device that has a Flipgrid app, download it on it, and then it'll just like pop up the video and that information will be right on their screen. Okay, so ways to use shorts in Flipgrid AR. It's great to explain directions, steps, or lessons or overview. I know when I was in the classroom and I was trying to do small group instruction, I always had students coming up and interrupting me while I was working with that one student. Well, this is the time where you would use Flipgrid AR, you put that QR code on that document, the student can scan it and watch those directions over and over and over again until they understand what they're doing. For now, we're doing distant learning. You can still kind of send that QR code home, or if you're still printing stuff to send your kids, print it and send it, or just send the link and then the student can pop up that short video. They won't get that AR experience, but they'll still get access to that video of you explaining directions. You can also send personal messages or share a story, and you just have to print the QR code and put it in the storybook, and up pops the video of you signing or voicing the story. Okay, now for the fun part. Working with our students who are deaf, hard of hearing. So here's some of my Flipgrid tips specifically for working with your DHH students. Okay, so video format. Flipgrid provides a platform for student voice, either for spoken or sign. The video allows for students to express themselves in their preferred language. So some students might prefer using ASL, some students might prefer using spoken English, and this platform allows them to do both. What's really cool is we know oftentimes a lot of our students are not comfortable with writing responses, or they will not write as much as they would if they could just express it. So the nice thing is Flipgrid is giving you that platform so students can fully express themselves in their preferred language where they feel comfortable enough to share everything that's going on in their head. Students can easily record responses to passages, texts, lessons, and videos that are attached in the topic and the grid. And then when they're shared out, they can actually watch each other, the classmates. There is the option for live captions, and that's what I'm going to talk about on the next slide. Okay, so Flipgrid has the settings to use live captions. So this has been such an exciting journey since I've been talking about Flipgrid and using Flipgrid and interacting with the Flipgrid team. It has been a journey with these live captions. I believe it started with no captions, and now we have live captions, and now we have the ability to edit those live captions. So it's always evolving, and that's why I mentioned, like, follow me on Twitter. I will also share all the Flipgrid team's Twitter handles because it is constantly evolving and changing. And as much as I feel like I keep up with current times, I sometimes miss it. So this is my recommendation. If you, the teacher, are using spoken language, just turn on the captions and start talking. You'll see that caption turn on when you're creating the grid. So it's important in your grid settings to turn on the captions. It will caption what you're saying. You have to give it time for it to process, because you have to think it's using Microsoft AI. It's going up into the cloud thing. It's being rendered and captioned, and then it's coming back to your computer. It's not going to be instant for the captions to pop up for you to edit. So you need to give it some time, and then it will allow for the captions to be edited. Sorry, I got distracted by bubbles. I just realized that I didn't have the chat open, and that's where Kara or someone from RMTC will yell at me that I need to stop presenting. So I got to keep it open so they can bother me. But anyways, so if you're using the spoken English or any spoken language, it will caption it, and then when it give it time to render and process. So this is my hardest because I have no patience. So it requires patience. You have to let it kind of sit and wait a minute, maybe go do something, wash a dish, make some more coffee, and then go back, and then you can edit your captions. If you are using sign language in your video, my recommendation for now, I'm hoping Flipgrid will have an update. Turn on the captions in your grid setting, start your video, and start signing. It's going to pick up all that annoying background noise, and that's going to kind of give you that caption bottom, so you have somewhere to type. When it's finished rendering, the Microsoft AI has done all its magic and gives you the captions. You can go through and edit and add your English sentences. But you do need to keep in mind that only educators can edit the captions. So that being said, a student cannot go through, as of now, to edit their captions. Me, as the educator, and my educator dashboard can go to actions, edit captions on the students' responses. So it's a good and bad thing, because that maybe our students don't have the skill set yet to edit their captions, but you as an educator can go through and edit the captions. If you're producing the video yourself, then you can go and edit your own captions. Like I said, you gotta wait, let it render, and those captions will appear. Okay, this was a last minute add-on that I kind of forgot about, but it's also important. Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader is also one of my favorite learning tools that Microsoft has come out with. I've been impressed with it since day one. So Immersive Reader, I should have put the little icon of what it looks like. It's like a little book with a speaker in front of it. So don't let that scare you that it's only read aloud. So yes, you could click that and it will read aloud to the student all the text that is on the screen. But it will also give you a focus mode by only showing one line at a time or 3 lines at a time. You can also set a setting so it shows parts of speech. You can change the colors of parts of speech. I know, like, my FSDB people that are here, we used to use colorful sentences. So a noun was a color, an adjective was a color. You can change it to match in your parts of speech setting on the Immersive Reader. So you can change the font spacing, have short lines, long lines. You can have the syllables show. You can contrast the screen so the student can pick the preferred color. So Immersive Reader it's one of those things that, like, once you start talking about, it's pretty easy to use, but it's all over the place. So if you look in things like Nearpod, OneNote, PowerPoint, Word, if you're using the Edge browser, I want to say Kahoot, but I'm not 100% sure on that one, but Flipgrid. So, like, Immersive Reader is almost everywhere. So if you see a little book with a speaker on it, that means Immersive Reader is there. You can click on that tool, it'll switch your screen to Immersive Reader, and the student can have it read aloud to them or focus on those certain parts to kind of like help the student in their journey of reading. Microsoft really pushes Immersive Reader for dyslexic students, but it also benefits many different of our diverse learners. So I would definitely check out Immersive Reader when you're working with different tools. Okay, it's tutorial time. All right, I do see some comments about co-pilots, and I should have added that in my presentation. So co-pilots is something really cool. If you're a co-teacher, I know like so I'm an adjunct at the University of North Florida. So Jennifer Kirkpatrick and I decided to do a Flipgrid with her team. Because she was a little bit nervous of working with her students in Flipgrid and was new to it, she added me as a co-pilot, which basically makes you and that other person educators in that grid. So you kind of get all the same commands as you would if you were the educator. So if you are a co-teacher or you work in pairs or you have a certain group, definitely check out, add the co-pilot, and you'll see a little button, and I believe it has the rocket emoji by it. It says co-pilot. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start right from the beginning. Oops. Hold on. Technical difficulties. I hit the wrong button. Okay. So I'm starting from the beginning. I'm using Firefox as that is my comfort level. I just like it. So I'm going to go to flipgrid.com. This is what the screen looks like when you go to the website. As you can see here, there's an enter a code. That's where your students would do it. Educators sign up free. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. So like I was showing before, you kind of have all those, so these are all my grids. So all my grids are being shown here for you guys. So I have all these different grids. Woohoo me, I've been interactive for 42 minutes. All my grids are listed. So if I'm going to go into this OneNote and Partner Apps grid, I just click on it. Well, actually, I'm going to start a new grid for you guys. So let's say I want to start a new grid. I'm going to call my grid FSDB Pineapple PD Tech Tidbits. I'm going to make it for student IDs. So that way you can kind of see what it looks like. When you do school email, that's where you're going to kind of drop your domain. So like I would add at fsdbk12.org and then the public PLC. So I'm going to do student IDs so you can kind of see. I'm going to have Kara Wilmot be in my class, and her number is going to be 12. I'm going to have Scott Walsh be in my class. Oops. He's going to be 23. I did see Lauren Rivera in here, so I'm going to add her too. She's going to be 7. So now I have 3 students in my class. That's what we're going to go with. So it goes, and I can print my roster. I can print their QR code. So if the student, it's easier for them to scan. You have all these different options to get the list to your student. So this is my class. So I have Lauren, Scott, and Kara in my class. So I'm going to go to my grid. This is my link to go to my grid, or I can embed it, put it in Google Classroom, or share on Remind. There's different ways that you can share your grid. I would probably send the link. So I'm going to go to my grid. It always has the first topic as say hello. This is a great way for you to practice how to kind of navigate the topics and all that. So remember, the grid is my class. Each topic is different topics that you would teach. So if you are a self-contained class, you would have a grid for your whole class, and then each topic would be what you want to focus on within your grid. If you are an itinerant teacher, this is where you need to get creative with your caseload. Are you wanting your students to interact? Are you wanting them separate? If you want them separate, each student would get their own grid for your itinerant caseload. For this instance, I'm pretending I have a self-contained class, so I want Lauren, Kara, and Scott in my class interacting. So I have all these options. I can view as a student. I can also freeze, hide my topic. I can share. You see I can add a co-pilot, see the little plane. I have all these activity or actions that I can do, add to Disco Library. That's if you have a topic, they're like, wow, this is great, I need to share it. It basically just pulls the content, not the responses, and shares. You can duplicate, move. I can also go in here and edit the topic. So we're going to pretend I just went ahead and set up, this is the topic. You can change the time. If I delete this focus, it shows all the options that I can do to add information. So like I can add a Kahoot in here. I can record my own video, a Vimeo link. There's so many different possibilities for what you would do. And that's kind of where you can kind of like work in that sense. Okay, so you can put a topic tip. Like if you're worried that they won't really understand what they're gonna do, I'll just be like, introduce yourself. I'm gonna put a little smiley. You can add any attachments, title. This is where I was saying it's important to figure out what your topics are. I'm gonna do moderation because I don't really trust Kara to not copy her classmates. So I'm gonna turn that on so I can make sure I watch all the stuff before they're posted. I can turn off on if I want the students to reply to each other or not. This is where I said that you can change. So I noticed, I love the FSDB teachers, but I noticed that when I do trainings with the FSDB teachers using Flipgrid, we have a problem where we waste a lot of time doing the selfie picture. So when you record a response, you record in video. When you're finished with your video, it says take a selfie. So then you can pose or do whatever. And then you can add those stickers and text and filters and all these like fun different things. And then that's where we kind of start wasting time. So you can turn that off and just make them do videos only, or you can let them do both. It just kind of depends. But I caution because some people spend a lot of time making their selfie look good. I'm guilty of that as well. This is where you turn off the video editing. So if you decide like I don't want them to edit, or you do, that's what you can kind of do for that. I like to keep the likes off because of if some students don't get as many likes as the other, that might hurt their feelings, and I don't want that to happen. So that's where I said you got to figure out what settings you prefer. This is where you can set up a rubric. By hitting custom feedback, you get all these different options for a rubric, and you can set a score. So that way you can grade. I'm pretty sure after you grade, it kind of makes it into a sheet that you can export. Since I'm not having anyone test it out and grade, I can't 100% confirm that while I'm presenting to show you, but it does give you a way to kind of export it to what you need to do. Make sure you hit update topic. And I forgot to add my focus. I deleted that picture, so I'm just gonna add a cute little emoji or an emoji. All right, so now my grid, or my topic, sorry, my topic in my grid is ready for me to share. So I can share it with my students. Here's the code or the QR code. And that way my students will get a notification that they need to go in and record something. So let me take you back so you can kind of see what it looks like from student view. So I can go here, and this is what it's gonna look like when a student goes in. So I'm gonna pretend I'm Lauren. I just typed in her 07 code, and this is what pops up. FSDB Pineapple PD Tech Tidbits. And oh, look, there's that icon for Immersive Reader. That little book with the speaker will turn this whole screen to Immersive Reader. So this is what Immersive Reader looks like on your screen. And basically you just click through all these different things at the top, and it will change the settings to your preferred. I can turn on my, I can find all my nouns, I can find all my verbs, different things by just clicking around, and I can focus, line focus. I mean, this is a whole other training, because I could go down a whole rabbit hole on Immersive Reader. But anyways, what's important is clicking this green plus sign. So when you see the green plus sign, that is your, and you can see, hi guys. So I can record my response. So I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna wait. So I just said, hi, my name is Randi. Oh, and I forgot, oh, did I record? I did record it. I can redo it. I can add a filter. So if I want to feel like I'm sunny on the beach. I don't recommend pixelated if you're signing. That's not going to work very well. But you can definitely play. Maybe you're having like a Western video. Here's where I could add the whiteboard. So by adding a whiteboard, I can go ahead and hit record again, and I can start writing. I can start writing on the screen, and then I pause it, and now in my video, I have a little whiteboard. You probably aren't going to say hi with a little like heart, but you could actually like teach a math skill or have the students like draw something. You can search through all the stickers. Like there's all these different features that you can do to add. I could add more. So I definitely recommend looking into that. So now it's asking me to take a selfie, and this is what I said takes forever. So I did a selfie, and now I can add like stickers throughout my thing. And then that's what's going to show when it's posted to my grid. I could add a title if I wanted to. I don't want to. Yay, Lauren just did her first post. Okay, so because it's moderated, I would have to go back into my teacher view. And then I could see that Lauren posted, and I could watch it first and then make it active. I can also add her response to mixtape. Sorry, I can't see because of the camera thing. Okay, you can delete the response, you can download the selfie, you can duplicate it, all these different actions within. So I definitely would look into that, like play around with that when you're doing stuff. And I just realized I might not have turned captions on. I didn't. See, I already failed. Let me go back so you can see that again. So when you go into your grid, you edit your grid. So this is important. You need to do this like first thing after you set up your grid. You're going to go into those edit features, and you're going to turn on the captions. There's also a bunch of different languages. So if you're not using English, you can pick one of those. But for this, I'm going to pick English, and then that's where you get the captions. And then if I would have had that turned on, it would be captioning my video. Unfortunately, it will not caption old video. So if you've already videoed yourself, it will not do captions. But now, from now, the starting point on, it will have the live caption option each time that, each time you're working, or like each time you're filming. So sorry, it's super important. When you make your grid, go to the pencil to edit, scroll all the way down to the middle, and turn those captions on, because without that, you will not have live captions when you're working with your students. Don't forget to update your grid, so then that way the topics go through. So of course you have mixtapes, disco library, shorts, so definitely check out all that. When I go over here by my name for the profile, you can also go to the Help Center and get more information. You can see those getting started guides. Also, if I go back to flipgrid.com, you can see at the top, they already linked at the top, remote learning. So you can click there. It has so many resources on remote learning, so definitely check that out. And really on the resource page, they have so much for you, how-to videos and all that. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so don't forget RMTC has a Flipgrid that they set up so you guys can share about your virtual learning experience and any resources. So definitely check it out. And I forgot to hyperlink it to this PowerPoint, but don't worry. RMTC is always good about sharing out the links with you, so you'll be able to add to their topic and their grid. Okay, I linked here the ASL explanation, sorry. Oops, it doesn't let me go back. This is the bad thing. Sorry, guys. I did a Pineapple PD on ASL, in ASL with voiceover and captions about how to get started, so that whole beginning part. Flipgrid also has a getting started guide, a remote learning guide, the Flipgrid PD, and then there's also a place called Microsoft Educator Center. there you can find a bunch of professional development on how to use different Microsoft tools or being creative and integrating technology into your instruction. There they have an Engage and Amplify with Flipgrid. You can click on that link, sign up for an MEC account, take the course, earn a badge, and it gives you everything you need to know kind of about Flipgrid. So I'm almost done, then you guys can ask all your questions. Okay, so
Randy, I wanted to let you know we're down to about 13 minutes, so if we can.
I only have 2 slides left.
Okay.
2 slides, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
all the questions. 2 slides, that's it. Okay, so Flipgrid. This is where you're going to follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So it's important to do at Flipgrid. They respond super quickly. They're sharing things all the time, different ideas. And then you can also follow the hashtag Flipgrid Fever. In this whole student voice journey, they're hoping that you get excited and you also get the Flipgrid Fever. Here is all of the different handles. Here's the Flipgrid team. So if you follow all of them on Twitter, they share how educators are using it. You stay up to date with what's current and what's happening. So I would definitely go there and check out all of their handles and follow them to get all the newest information on Flipgrid. All right, and that is, like I promised, 2 slides.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all of that. We did have a ton of questions I wanted to kind of start running your way, if you don't mind.
All right.
In the questions and answers section. Going kind of up to the top from Glennis, she asked, are the videos aligned with the Florida state standards?
Sorry, can you say it again? Let me turn the volume up on my computer a little bit louder. Okay,
Yes.
Go ahead.
So Glennis had asked, are the videos in Flipgrid aligned with the Florida state standards?
Because Flipgrid's used with everybody, it's most likely going to be aligned with Common Core. And then you can use that, like, I forgot what it's called, but like the connector to figure out how it's going to relate to Florida standards, because you have educators from all over the US and probably the world sharing stuff in the Disco library. So it will probably provide the Common Core, or at least the the objectives or end goal, so then you could match it up with the Florida state standards.
Awesome. Also from Glennis, what are copyrighted permissions? What about copyrighted permissions before signing the stories with AR? Is that needed?
So you would basically be signing it, like signing a glimpse. There would be no photo in the background, and then you kind of be sharing it. I'm sure RMTC can provide more information. I'm not saying release the whole book in one thing. I was just saying if you need to do little bits and pieces of a read aloud in that text. But I'm sure RMTC has more info on that, since they made several books in HP Reveal a couple years ago.
This is Kara. It goes back to accessibility. So you're not publishing the whole thing. If you're making it accessible for your students and the students have the book and you have the book, or if they're carrying it back and forth and you're just showing them little bits of it. So they had to have the book to make it work. They have to have the book to make this work, so that, and you're not publishing it to the entire web, you're keeping it locked down just for your students, and you have the book. So there's that accessibility piece of it there, as opposed to we're publishing this whole book and we're holding the whole book up and nobody had to go buy this book.
So you definitely have to have the source that you want to put the code on, and then each QR code would be that part of the story. So the students would definitely have to have the book at home to access that QR code that you put in it. Okay, next question.
Yes, ma'am. Jonah asked, does Flipgrid interact with other platforms? Her example was Schoology.
I'm not familiar with Schoology. The only thing I know about Schoology is earlier this week it crashed, and the fact that it kind of looks like a Facebook for schools. So I do know that Flipgrid you just put the link into like your Google Classroom or your Teams or that type of thing. I'm assuming that it would be the same thing for Schoology. You would just like post that link into your Schoology and say, hey, students, respond here. But other than that, I don't know. I could try to find out that information though.
Our next one is from Jessica Dalton. She asks, could we edit the captions collaboratively with the students if we were screen sharing in a meeting in Teams?
Yeah, that's a great loop around. Jessica, you would have to type, so you could screen share where you're showing your Flipgrid window up as a half screen, your QuickTime video or like whatever media player you have up on the other screen, Teams, screen share, and you're talking about it and having a discussion. But Jessica, you would have to be the one that's actually typing in as the educator, but that would be a good loop around. So great out of the box thinking.
Yes, ma'am. Jennifer Kilpatrick had asked, I know that you can edit the captions, but is there a way to turn them off after video is created? So once they're already created into the video, can you turn the captions off at another point?
So with the live captions, so when you're finished with the video, I guess I should have said this, it gives you the caption box like you have in a normal video. So you would click to turn on the captions, click to turn it off. They aren't burned into the video. It's basically like the closed captions where you have the option to turn them on or off when watching the video.
Glennis had asked, where is the library of books that are in the library with immersive readers?
Oh, so Immersive Reader isn't attached to like a book per se. So let's say I wanted to share an article with you, and I wrote a whole like essay that I wanted you to read. Like I wrote my own little poem. So I'm going to send it to you in Microsoft Word. Well, let's say that you need to use the Immersive Reader learning tool to support you in your learning. You would turn that on, and then it would transform that Word document into the Immersive Reader. If you have the Edge browser downloaded on your computer and you're using that, Immersive Reader is now there too. So I believe it will actually like take a web page, because I haven't been using the Edge browser recently. This is a new feature, but it will transform it into that Immersive Reader screen that I kind of showed you on the Flipgrid. So it's not a list of books, it's kind of a learning tool that you can use on different resources.
Lauren Riviera had asked, when uploading a video not created in Flipgrid, it would just need to be a video that is under 10 minutes, correct? Can we upload from Google Drive?
You probably can't upload from Google Drive. It'd probably have to be on your actual computer to upload it there. I've been mainly doing all my videos in actual Flipgrid, so I haven't played too much when it's uploading, or I've linked videos that were from YouTube and put them in. So it would be like, watch this video, give me a response. If it's in YouTube, there's going to be no minute link because you're using YouTube's videos. But if you're using Flipgrid, you are going to have those restrictions that the Flipgrid has set upon their stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Lauren Riviera also asked, can we voice and translate the content in Spanish, or does it only work as the language used to translate to English? Let me read it again.
I'm going to come at you, Lauren. I know you. I'm very close to you. Ask all these questions, putting me on the spot. I'm just kidding. I love Lauren. I miss you. Lauren and I were kindergarten teachers together my 5 years in Deaf Elementary School. So you can actually turn the captions on to Spanish. So if you're speaking Spanish, it will caption in Spanish. And that's in those grid options. So if you are speaking Spanish, I don't know if you can speak English and it will translate it into Spanish. For that, you would need to use Microsoft Translator, and that can kind of help you translate into whatever captions you need. But the student would have to have the translator app open on the computer or on their device. Oh, she said, yeah, English translated to Spanish. I don't think it will translate for you, but the translator app that Microsoft has will.
Yes, ma'am. Judy Bagg had asked, can you edit your grid after you posted or shared it?
You can edit your grid. The only thing to remember is that so like for captions, like what I did, major fail, I forgot to turn my captions on in my grid when I started making videos. So now that video that I made where I was like, hi, I'm Lauren, isn't gonna have captions at all because I didn't have that turned on. Captions won't work for old videos. It's only when the setting is there, and then from then on. Other things that you could change is like the moderator and those things, like that can be changed, but other stuff is gonna be kind of prevented.
Glennis asked a really good question. If I'm signing, should I sign slower than usual so that I can close caption the content later?
What I say for best practice, so just like speaking how energetic I am with you guys for a webinar, I would be totally different if we were just like at dinner when all this is over, of course. Like at dinner, I wouldn't be as so much energetic. It's important when you're also signing content that you're signing very clear and big so it comes off visually. I wouldn't sign too slow because that might have a student lose the track of the sentence, but I wouldn't sign so fast that it just like either blurs in the camera or it is hard to caption. So do it at a very like teachable pace for your signing.
Yes, ma'am. Jennifer Kilpatrick asked, I saw that RMTC's virtual learning Flipgrid that Candace and Sherry use ASL with voiceover. How do you recommend doing that? Did you record outside of Flipgrid and then upload it, or did you record in Flipgrid with app smashing?
That's going to be a Kara question because I haven't seen her video. So I don't know what she did for.
This is Kara. Candace used OneNote to record her voice and then played her voice and then signed her story so that it would pick up the voice and then caption it. And then Sherry, I think maybe just used a voice recorder. So she just basically recorded her voice and then again played the recording and then signed what she said so it would have the captions and the sign.
One other tool to use, one of my other favorites is Clips. Apple has that app called Clips. You can upload a video of you signing to Clips and then you can do a voiceover and it will caption. You can export that video and then upload it to Flipgrid as well. So there's a bunch of different ways, but it seems like the consensus is that if you want to voice over an ASL, you need to upload it separate from Flipgrid. But who knows? Maybe Flipgrid will add that option later. I mean, they're always adding stuff.
And Randy, I hate to cut these questions short, and guys, these are such great questions. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us, but we do have to kind of wrap things up we're closely approaching 4 o'clock. So Randy, I want to thank you for presenting today. That was some really great information. Finally, thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. The recording will be posted on the RMTC-DHH website. We love hearing from you, and we are happy to help in any way that we can. You can connect with us through social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. You can also sign up for our newsletter. We would love we love your comments on social media about what you learned at hashtag RMTC-DHH or hashtag Florida Deaf Ed or FL Deaf Ed. As you may know, we are a Florida Department of Education, Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Service discretionary project, and all the services we provide are free. To continue our work, we must collect survey data to justify why our services are needed. If each of you could please complete the survey right now, we would greatly appreciate it. Please choose the training titled Microsoft Flipgrid Special Webinar. Thank you again from all of us at RMTC. We'll be ending this broadcast now.